From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning, leading up to Saturday's 3 p.m. tilt with the ULM Warhawks at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. We'll talk a little ULM today. We'll talk whatever happened, or at least some of what happened yesterday at Ole Miss media opportunities, and more. We'll see where it goes here on the podcast. It's brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon. Remember, the Speed Pass Plus app is there and ready whenever you want to take advantage of it, because you're going to save money right there at the pump by doing so. It's easy. It is efficient. It makes it simple on you. You can also become an Exxon Mobil Rewards Plus member. When you do that, you earn 100 points immediately after you register, and even more points per gallon in the first 30 days, including earning 15 cents a gallon in points for 30 days. So again, take advantage of those things at Blue Sky, the Oxford Exxon, and other Blue Sky locations around Mississippi. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900, 662-257-1900. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. Send him a quote within 15 minutes, and within 15 minutes in business hours, he'll send you a quote after what you request. And then it's up to you. You get your quote, you can shop it around, or you can let Corey and the people at Clark Ford do for you what they've done for me and so many others, and that's take the hassle out of the everyday car buying experience with a great vehicle from Clark Ford. Great service after the sale. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. You might say, what does that mean? Well, once you do business with Corey, you'll figure it out. And it's a pretty great relationship to have with your car dealer. So 662-257-1900. Tell Corey you heard about Clark Ford on our podcast, and you'll save $500 off the bottom line from Clark Ford.
So, you hadn't told us in a while. You've got ULM this week. Let's see, how many years ago since you had your ill-fated Nick Saban ULM moment in Mobile?
That was in 2007.
Seven. So that was the Alabama team that came over here and had the red shoe thrown and the Shea Hodge thing and all that stuff. Same year, right? Or was that the year before? No, it'd been that year.
It might have been that year.
Because Orgeron had Alabama in Oxford twice. It was Jamie Christensen kicking the field goal at the end of the game to win 13-10. And then over in Alabama is the game we were talking about with Manjarvis. Green Ellis got stopped short in overtime, and Alabama won like 26-23. And then this the ill-fated game where Doyle Jackson, I believe, was the official that screwed it up.
Yes.
And Ole Miss should have had a first and goal with under a minute left or whatever it was.
Yeah, it should have been first and goal, I think, at the 3
or 4 yard line, something along those lines. Because that was the Alabama team that goes 6-6, right, in Saban's first year.
I think that's correct.
6-6.
Yeah, and I mean, to reset what happened.
You got Auburn dominating the series at this point.
Yes. Yeah, that was a major problem.
That really, that's funny. I mean, we talk about, individual games. I mean, we always tell you, hey, anger is better than apathy for our job. We need great and bad instead of mediocre over long periods of time. But very rarely can one game or one rivalry really shape careers. But there's no doubt it did yours, because Alabama dominates that thing for that 6-7 years. You're not sitting here right now.
No, probably not.
I mean, AD choices changed your career path over a decade.
Yeah, it did, no question. I mean, I won't bore you with all of the details, but it's an interesting story, and it's a little bit of how just life happens. When you think you control everything in your life, man, you don't. So I started doing radio in 2002. Campbell was born in May of 2001. Laura stopped working. She wanted to stay home and raise our daughter, which was a decision that we had to really weigh, because I was just a sports writer and I had a good job, but come on.
Yeah.
And Laura had a good job that she left. And I did a lot of radio on WNSP as the Auburn beat writer. And Taylor Zarzer had started at WNSP, thank God. And he would get me on, and of course, we would talk about Auburn and who Auburn was playing and what Auburn was doing and whatever. And then we'd get into other things sometimes. And, you know how this is because we do it every day, but when you're filling 3 hours of airtime, sometimes you'll just, if you can get somebody who can talk, you'll keep them on for a little while. And we would talk about baseball or NFL or whatever. Taylor's a big Red Sox fan. We would talk about baseball, stuff like that. So anyway, he called me in February of 2002 and basically offered me a job as the co-host and said, it's not much money. And I said, how much? And he's like, about $11,000. And I said, I'll do it. Because we just needed money. And so I started that show in March of 2002. And I did that show through the end of 2007. So almost 6 years of daily 3 to 6 radio in Mobile, Alabama. And in that stretch, Alabama never won the Iron Bowl. And that doesn't sound like much.
Well, but really think about that. 6 straight years.
Yeah, but when you stop and take a step back and go, okay, so let's talk about that. This is Tommy Tuberville in 2002. Has a good team. We get Jetgate. Tuberville beats Alabama.
But real quick while you're doing that, to set it up for Ole Miss people, that would be like going into this season's game, Mississippi State or Ole Miss or whomever, say State because they won that game I'm talking about, they would not have won an Egg Bowl since that 2011 game they beat the crap out of Ole Miss to end the Houston Nutt era.
Yeah.
It's that length of a stretch, the entire Hugh Freeze era and another season.
Yeah, so when arrogant Alabama fan comes at me on Twitter like they do, sometimes I always want to say, and there's no way to do this in 280 characters, and there's no way to do this with any perspective. You always want to say, if you could put what you're saying in perspective, you'd stop. But they can't because they're hung up in the now because that's what people do.
So anyway, we had Jetgate.
So yeah, we had Jetgate. Auburn was very good in 2003. Auburn was dominant in 2004, probably was the second best team in the country.
Yeah.
They won the Sugar Bowl, went undefeated, finished number 2.
Yeah.
They were very good in 2005, and they were pretty good in 2006, and they were fairly decent in 2007. This is Tommy Tuberville with a stable program.
2007, they went 9-4, 5-3.
Yeah. Alabama, during this period, went through sanctions, if I recall correctly.
Dennis Franchione,
the Mike Price deal, Mike Shula. That's that tenure. So the two programs,
and the end of Mike Shula being a disaster.
The two programs were total opposites. Auburn was dominating. Alabama was average.
So they get into Nick Saban. They hire Saban to start the 2007 season.
So they hire Saban. And Saban comes in, and I got off on a bad foot with Saban. Because if you ask me a question, I typically will answer it honestly. A caller called in and said, now keep in mind, Jamarcus Russell was from Mobile, and I covered the hell out of Jamarcus Russell's recruitment. Okay?
Yeah.
To the point of knowing more than I ever wanted to know. A caller called in and said, do you think LSU gave Jamarcus Russell benefits to go to LSU?
Caller called in 2007 or what? Just somewhere along the line?
Somewhere after Saban had just taken the job.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it was spring.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's spring of 2007, and I answered the question, well, yes. Because they did. I know they did. I know what they did. It was boosters. I know who did it. I know who they gave it to. I know everything about it. It happens. Jamarcus Russell was never going anywhere for free. So the guy said, do you think Saban knew about it? And I said, well, I mean, yeah. But, I mean, he had plausible deniability. Do I think Saban knew the details of it? Of course not.
He didn't hand him the keys.
Do I think he in the back of his mind knew that there's a booster network that's taking care of this quarterback from Mobile that everybody in the country wants? Yes.
Sure.
I don't think that's ludicrous. Well, Alabama thought it was ludicrous. So I'm at the spring meetings, SEC meetings, right after the SEC baseball tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to then LSU women's coach Van Chancellor.
Yeah.
And I noticed that Alabama's media relations guy is stalking me almost. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And it was Saban wanted to talk to me. So we introduced, no small talk. He asked me what I said, and I told him. And he said, well, that insults my integrity. And I said, well, I'm not really trying to insult anyone's integrity, but that's what I said. And I covered Jamarcus's recruiting, and I know what happened. And I don't care. He didn't like I don't care. I want to have a good relationship. I want us to whatever. He knew that we had a show in Mobile that, frankly, got better ratings than Feinbaum. It was a good show. I remember getting home after that and telling Laura, this was an ongoing thing between the two of us. Laura's from Birmingham. Her parents lived in Mountain Brook. Her mom and her stepfather lived in Mountain Brook, and she did not want to leave. She won't mind me saying this now. I told her, I said, this isn't going to work. This is not going to last. And we had just moved across the bay to Spanish Fort, and I was antsy. I was nervous. And I had some opportunities to go other places and kind of wanted to do it, but other places were a long way away. And anyway, as that football season unfolded, it was Nick Saban's first year at Alabama, and the expectation in Tuscaloosa was that they would win the intergalactic national championship, and it didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, I've got that up.
Okay.
We'll go through that and kind of get to the game a little bit.
All right.
This is as interesting as anything we can talk about today. So they open up with Western Carolina. They win a blowout, whatever. Beat Vanderbilt by a couple touchdowns in Nashville, and then beat a pretty good Arkansas team in Tuscaloosa 41-38. Close game, win it. And then hit a little skid here. They lose to Georgia at Bryant-Denny in overtime, 26-23. Good.
I covered that game.
And then, they lose to Florida State the next week. Why in the middle of the season did they play a neutral site game against Florida State in 07? That's kind of not for back then. That's kind of rare.
Where was that game? It was in Jacksonville. Yeah, I covered that. It was the day. That game was the day after the Cubs won the division.
Why? Why was that set up? Why would Alabama play Florida State in the middle of the year like that in Jacksonville?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But Florida State won the game.
Yeah, 21-14.
Yeah.
So, then they beat Houston. Close game, though. Didn't beat them bad. And then had the Ole Miss game where they look like crap but win it.
Yeah.
27-24. And then, this is where it kind of gets weird. They beat Tennessee 41-17.
Yeah.
LSU beats them. Really good LSU team, number 3 in the country.
Yeah.
Beats them. And then they lose to Mississippi State at home.
Yeah.
And even though that team was okay, I would assume, and you'll probably tell me, yes, that's exactly what it was. Optically, I remember that game looking terrible for Alabama.
It was a very bad look, and it happened on the same day, if I recall correctly, and it's been years.
I can tell you probably.
Auburn played at Georgia.
November 10th.
And I had gone, if I remember, to Athens as the columnist for that game. And if I recall, Georgia just beat the pants off
Georgia beat Auburn 45-20 that day in Athens.
And the first half, the game was over. And so I got back to Mobile. This is so funny. I get back to Spanish Fort. And that Monday, we had just moved into that house, and that Monday, Laura had made up her mind that we were buying new bedroom furniture. Okay. So we spend that Monday morning shopping for bedroom furniture. I hate shopping for bedroom furniture. And we bought bedroom furniture, put it at one of those like places where you put it on a payment plan and all that stuff. And I go from there. We had lunch somewhere, me and her and the girls, I think. I guess Carson was at daycare or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember. And then I went to the station. And about that time, CBS announced its lineup for 2 Saturdays away. Because it's Monday. You know how they do.
Yeah.
And CBS had a doubleheader. And the doubleheader was Florida State, Kentucky, who was having a big year.
That's the Andre Woodson year, I think.
Could be.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Tennessee.
Actually, maybe it wasn't. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Kentucky, Tennessee was the night.
Not Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah. So Auburn, Alabama was going to be a night game. Well, Auburn, Alabama week had become a contentious thing around the station because Alabama had been losing so much, and the station always tried to sell it up as this. And you know me, I do not like overplaying something. I don't like overhyping something because then when something deserves hype, it falls on deaf ears.
Of course, yeah.
So we'd had a meeting, and it was about, hey, you know, whatever, it's going to be difficult. And all I said at the beginning of the show was, as we start the Iron Bowl stuff, can we at least this one year, just this year, because you have to understand, people would call in, and Taylor milked this early in our time, and he would do this deal about, is this the biggest rivalry in sports?
Okay.
Well, in Alabama, people would say yes. I would go, sports? Alabama Auburn's bigger than Red Sox Yankees? Bigger than Duke Carolina? I mean, really? No, it's not the biggest. It's a huge game, and when they're both really good, it's just incredible. But in this year, they both weren't really good, and CBS had just gone, not only we're passing, but we're passing twice. And I said, can we at least this year just say it's the biggest rivalry in the state?
By the way, Kentucky was 7-3 when these games were announced.
7-3.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were a story. They were a little Cinderella-ish, and they were a story, and CBS had just gone, let's do something new. And I said, can we at least just say, for this one year, it's just the biggest rivalry
in Alabama.
And we used to play this game. I've told you the story before. It was Guess That Fight Song. And my producer's name was Isaac Vasquez, who's a salt of the earth, wonderful human being, great guy, love him dearly. But Isaac spoke pretty broken English. He could speak English, but some of the words you couldn't quite understand and stuff like that, and we would play around about it. And so he would play Guess That Fight Song, and he'd pull up random schools, and of course I'd miss them. Well, on this Monday, it's ULM week. Alabama's playing ULM in Tuscaloosa on Saturday afternoon as their precursor to the Iron Bowl. And Auburn's playing Sisters of the Poor or somebody.
They're off.
Oh, they're off.
They're off.
Okay. So it's going to be a little bit of a dead week, and Isaac plays the ULM fight song. I know that I went to ULM for graduate school. I know I joke around about it. Here's the dirty little truth. I didn't ever go to a game, and if you made me today hum the ULM fight song, I wouldn't have a clue.
I'll try to find it in a minute, but go ahead.
So he plays the ULM fight song, and I'm guessing schools. And he finally goes, no, it's ULM, you know. And I said, you know what's funny about this game? I said, don't get me wrong, Alabama's going to win. But Nick Saban's lost this team. Nick Saban's going to win. This is exactly what I said. Nick Saban's going to win big at Alabama. He's going to win big at Alabama soon. But he's lost this team. He's not winning big with this team. They're not winning the Iron Bowl. And this game Saturday against ULM is losable. That's all I said. Losable. Within 48 hours, I was no longer hosting radio in Mobile. A coordinated effort was made. It was It was McConnell. I can't remember. I think he's passed away. Ivan Mazel's dad runs a beer distributorship there.
And here's what's funny about that. Going into that game, ULM was mediocre at best. They were like 4-6.
Yeah.
They were not good.
No.
They finished fourth in the Sun Belt that year.
Yeah.
6-6, 4-3 in the Sun Belt.
Yeah. But I knew that
lost the middle 2 weeks before this, and the week before this beat Grambling by a couple scores.
I just knew that Alabama was capable of losing to anyone at that point. That's all I said, was it was losable. And that upset some of the big boys. The guy that runs Felix's.
Okay, do you think it was decided before they actually lost, or it was just, I'm mad and I'm going to punish somebody because they lost the
Well, they
game?
were getting irritated because I was critical of Alabama that season.
And critical of the rivalry in general.
Well, and I
wasn't
just,
the biggest thing.
Yeah, I just said it's not the biggest thing this year. Some years it is. This year it's not. And they didn't like me. I wasn't an Alabama guy. I wasn't a Mobile guy. I wasn't beholden to them. I didn't. You know what I mean? It was that deal.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we'll close it in one. And close this part of the story in 1 second. We'll do. I'll tell you the podcast brought to you in part by Oxford Wine and Spirits, located next to Lost Pizza on College Hill Road. 5% below industry standard prices. Every time you walk in the door, the inventory gets better by the week. Got some new bourbons in recently, including maybe some allocated stuff if you catch them on the right day. So that's Oxford Wine and Spirits next to Lost Pizza on College Hill Road. You spend $150 or more. Mention the podcast. 10% off wine. 10% off liquor, 5% off wine there at Oxford Wine and Spirits.
Podcast also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. Visit her website, meganmphillips.com. It's MEAGANM Phillips.com. Or call her at 205-602-7929. 205-602-7929. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB right now is offering 1-year CDs at 1.75% annual percentage yield, 3-year triple option CDs paying 2.01% APY. With the 3-year term, customers can deposit once during the term, withdraw once during the term, and or bump the rate if OUB's 3-year rate rises. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry's an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site and he'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you are looking for, and then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Ask about their lease deals. Great lease deals if you're driving limited miles and you want to drive a new vehicle for 1990s prices. You can do that at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing in Oxford and the float down option. So lock in your current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOW, JLOWE at communitymtg.com. So it's a little bit of everything in your mind at this point. And when did you actually get the words you hear before they actually called you, or what? How did it go down?
No. I did not. I finished the show on Wednesday, and I did the show.
So Wednesday after the loss.
I did the show Wednesday from home.
So what was your Monday show like, considering they had just lost? How'd you kind of go back at it? What was that show?
We recounted. We did what we always did. Recounted the games. Had on beat writers. All the stuff.
But no, like, crazy gloating or anything. You didn't.
Oh, no. I didn't. It wasn't good for me for Alabama and Auburn both to lose. I knew. Again, this is the "you're fired" moment was not a shock to me. I knew it was coming. We had this conversation for 2 years. Laura and I had, where she would say, "Your ratings are so good, they're not gonna do that," and I said, "I'm telling you, it doesn't matter." It's not this.
Was sponsor money down?
No.
Was advertising rolling?
Yeah. But the people who were advertising were Alabama boosters, guys who are big time Alabama boosters. I mean, involved in the network, the whole shooting match, and they were threatening. Now, they weren't going to do anything. And if
you red elephants in the bunch.
If Ken Johnson, the owner of WNSP, if he had a set and he doesn't, if he had a set, he would have said to them, hey, let's let the season play out. And when it's over, hey, let's all sit down and get together and have a conversation. Because the part that they were skipping was me saying Alabama's going to win, and Alabama's going to win soon.
The next year.
Nick Saban's going to win, but he's not winning with this group. This group doesn't want to play for Nick Saban.
Yeah, he won the next year.
Yeah, he won the next year, and 2 years later won the national title, I think. I mean, the whole deal was they weren't listening to that. They had their panties in a wad, and they were bitching, and instead of him standing up...
They were upset and mad.
Yeah, and instead of him standing up, he rolled over to him because he's part of the network, too. It's funny to me, WNSP still calls and goes, hey, you want to come on the show? And it's like, really? Why would you want to have me on? I make fun of you.
They do, though.
But I told Laura, I said, they're not good people. You can't trust them, and they're going to screw me. They're going to lie to me, and they're going to screw me. We need to get out, and she just did not want to leave. And there's a question about, life's funny how it works out, timing and stuff, I mean, just life's funny the way it works out, that's all.
I think this is what you were looking for, Neil, from a fight song standpoint.
As a kid, we grew up cheering for Tech. Tech and what is now ULM, it was then Northeast Louisiana, were rivals, and I would cheer for Tech in that game.
Naturally.
I was in Ruston. We grew up, my dad taught at Tech.
Yeah.
We went swimming at the Tech pool. We got our ice cream from the Tech farm.
The what?
It's called Tech Farm.
Is there an ice cream place?
Yeah, like Mississippi State has.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, that kind of deal.
They have muscadine ripple, too?
I don't remember. They had great chocolate chip. I do remember that.
They have good cheese?
I think they did have cheese.
They have cheese.
Now that you say that, yeah.
Okay.
So, I cheered for Tech. Tech had a really good basketball team. Had a player named Karl Malone.
They did.
And they were fun. And I always assumed I was going to go to Tech. I cheered for Tech. I didn't know what ULM stuff was. It was then the NLU. My parents both went to NLU. I had an uncle. Both of my uncles went to NLU. But NLU was not like an option really for me. I visited my senior year, if I remember. Went to their auditorium for a deal one day. That was about the extent of it.
I'm pretty sure, unless I'm forgetting one, the last time ULM beat an SEC team, however, was Arkansas in 2012. That was in Little Rock, 34-31 in overtime for a ULM team that had a pretty good year. They went 8-5, 6-2 in the Sun Belt, beat Arkansas, lost to Auburn in overtime the very next week. So they beat Arkansas, then go to Jordan-Hare and lose 31-28. They lose a 47-40 game, 42 game to Baylor. Baylor actually came to Monroe to play them. And then they rolled off a pretty good many wins until they ran into Louisiana Lafayette and Arkansas State late in the season. So that 12 team is the one that did beat the Hogs. They beat the Tide before that. So they've done it a couple times. So anyway,
yeah. So anyway, the funny part of the story is that
we're not done.
They fire me on a Wednesday.
So a Wednesday, don't even finish the week.
I finished the show and they fired me. I didn't
Called you in.
I didn't go into the station because people in my house were sick, and I didn't want to spread it.
So you did it remote?
I did it from my house in Spanish Fort. They called me immediately after and fired me.
Over the phone?
Yeah. Tim Camp did it, the programming director. The owner of the station to this day has never spoken to me.
What Tim Camp say?
Just that they'd gotten negative feedback and it's time to move on. Moving
on a Wednesday
afternoon.
What did they do on the show the next day?
Acted like it didn't happen. And, of course, people were calling in going, what the hell?
Who was doing the show?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But the paper wrote a story about it because I'm working for the paper, and I told them, like, hey, you guys probably ought to know this. And so they wrote a story about it and quoted me, and I quoted them saying what they said, that I wasn't Alabama enough.
That was a quote?
That was a quote.
Oh,
I wasn't pro-Alabama enough.
Okay.
Anyway, so that Saturday I had to fly to Houston because I was covering the Saints a lot, and Saints played the Texans in Houston on Sunday at noon, and so I flew on Saturday to Houston. And honestly, was kind of excited to get in the air. I needed to get away. It had been super tense at home, a lot of panic, as you might imagine. And I got in the plane, and I thought, I'm going to land in Houston. I'm going to go find a bar. I'll wake up in time to cover the game. And I landed in Houston, and I turned my phone on, and, dude, it blew up. I cannot describe what my phone was like. Initially, I was concerned someone had died. Just all these messages. And a guy named Bo Meganson, who was a big Auburn guy down in Mobile, I guess he still is.
Ian Rappaport wrote the story.
Uh-huh.
By the way.
I think Bo's still in Mobile. I hope so. He's a really nice guy, he and his wife. His wife's name's Laura. Nice people. Bo said, hey, do you want to hear the end of this ULM game? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, ULM's winning.
Oh, God.
And so I listened to the last, while I'm standing on the plane waiting to deplane. You know, it takes forever. And I was back in the back of the plane. I remember that, so I had to wait forever to get off the plane. And I'm listening to the end of the Alabama-ULM game.
Eli Gold.
And, of course, it ends. Alabama's last pass falls to the ground or whatever. And ULM wins 21-14. And it was just hilarious to me that had they just ridden it out, instead of being a big deal, they would have been able to come back the next Monday and go, you knew.
Been great radio.
It'd been awesome radio. And sure enough, Alabama lost the Iron Bowl that year to Auburn. It was a night game at Jordan-Hare. I remember it, Chase, because I had to drive back to Atlanta on Saturday night after the Iron Bowl and catch a early flight to Charlotte to cover Saints-Panthers. Covered Saints-Panthers, a game at, I want to say it was noon.
Okay. Did you call Siri accidentally?
I guess I accidentally did.
Huh.
So, it's funny how you remember crap like that, but I want to say it was Saints-Panthers. Maybe it was Saints somebody. I flew somewhere on Sunday morning to cover a Saints game at noon the next day, and remember just being unconscious in the press box.
I can't imagine the thrill you get as you're listening to the end of ULM Alabama. So how much later was it when the guy comes to your house and you've got the shirt on or whatever it was?
Oh, wasn't long. So ULM, because I graduated, I was on their mailing list. And I'd get like these, they would call it good news from ULM or whatever. And it was alumni stuff. You know how it is. Everybody does it. It's like, hey, this alum just became the CEO of whatever. And this dude did whatever. And I always deleted it. Just deleted it. But this one showed up, and it was get your T-shirt to support the Alumni Association. And it was this kind of maroon shirt, and it was in silver letters, ULM 21, Bama 14. And all
Couldn't help yourself.
And all you had to do was contribute $25 to the Alumni Association, and you got the T-shirt for free. Or
whatever.
That's part of the. I'm like, here's my check. It's the only money I've ever given to an alma mater in my life, but it was worth it. I got that shirt and wore it all the time, and this guy came over to fix something.
You wore that son of a gun out in Mobile.
Oh, daily.
That is hilarious.
If like seriously,
you get looks at Kroger.
Oh yeah, Laura would. There was a Winn-Dixie, I think, near our house, and if Laura needed to go to the grocery store, but I'm going. I got it, and I had to throw the shirt on and go.
Oh God.
And I would just walk the aisles. I mean, she'd send me to get like 3 things, and I'm walking all.
You're doing the old man hour and a half in the grocery store.
Oh yeah, I'll get it eventually. People would glare at you, and I would just laugh. It's awesome. Loved it. Loved that shirt. Got more. Never has $25 entertained someone for longer than
not even at Sammy's.
Yeah. Well, at Sammy's, I mean, it's a quick thrill.
Yeah.
This T-shirt lasted. It was a good year full of thrills for $25.
Where is the shirt?
I've lost it somewhere.
How'd you lose the shirt?
I don't know. Wish I still
that
had
thing
it.
should be like framed in the office somewhere.
Wish I had
frankly.
it. Oh my God, I wish I had
I think
it.
they'd send another one. You think they got any anywhere? You called the Alumni Association, be like,
I
hey,
haven't.
look,
I haven't.
it's been 10 years, but you got one laying in a box.
I suspect they kind of hate me because
ULM?
I tweet stuff about ULM all the time. And it's all so sarcastic. I mean, you know they hate my guts. I mean, or they don't get it.
So you think the guy behind this Saturday might like start throwing stuff down the thing?
I think I know the guy who's the ULM guy because I think he used to be like one of the Auburn student people when I was there.
Okay. So anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, that's kind of it. It just
No, you got the guy coming to your house.
oh, he comes to my house and I've got this shirt on and
Did you? You
he's
didn't
all-
plan to be wearing the shirt.
No. I just had it on probably because I had a grocery trip coming up and I was dressed. And he got all worked up about it. Oh, he was so upset.
He was fixing your stove or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he was all pissed off about that shirt. Alabama's a funny place, man. Funny place. It's life or death.
It's not wrong.
Nothing matters more than football there.
By the way, time set for next Saturday when Ole Miss plays Delta State in one of these fall game things. It's 1 o'clock first pitch for that. So I'm assuming it's free. So just come on out. Mike Bianco says he's not sure who he's pitching or how he's doing lineup.
I was going to ask you, you got a line up yet?
It's going to be one game. They're going to play more than 9 innings probably. Probably going to play like 12 or 13 innings because it's a scrimmage. So play as long as you want to play.
The people who don't understand what it is are going to be so frustrated by it. Because it's going to be like 13-6 after 9 innings, and we're going to go to, quote, extras.
Yeah.
Because we got to get this dude some work.
Actually, I'm praying for like an 8-8 game where he doesn't bring Caracci in the ninth, and then it's, hey, what's up? And it's like,
Over there,
freshman Doug Nikhazy's in the game in the 9th inning.
Ole Miss leads 8-7 going to the 9th, and Caracci's sitting over on the bench. An old man just loses his mind. Yeah, I want that video.
Oh, I'm so going. I can't wait. I'm excited.
What are you doing, Bianco?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think deep down Mike's going, do we really have to play this game?
Of course he is.
Do I have to play someone else?
Of course he is. Do we really have to turn the scoreboard on? Is that really a necessity?
Some kid from Delta State's going to spin 6 scoreless. And
Yeah.
Here we go.
Why are we bunting?
By the way, closing our Alabama portion of this here podcast, so Mike DeBose shot himself?
I saw that. Accidentally shot himself in the abdomen.
Yeah, kind of scary, frankly. Former Alabama coach Mike DeBose airlifted to a Dothan hospital on Monday after accidentally shooting himself. He was transported to the hospital but couldn't say if the injuries were threatening. I don't think they ended up being. Coached Alabama, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I saw a better story than this one somewhere. This is from AO.com. It's not very updated. But, I mean, amazingly, you got the click. You don't need to update it later.
Really nice person, Mike DeBose. I have a human story about Mike DeBose that I could tell sometime. It was the
real quick,
Go
he
ahead.
was actually cutting grass. He was carrying a pistol for snakes, and something happened where he dropped it or something, and it went off and shot himself.
Damn.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they get some rattlesnakes down there now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
It was the Sunday, I think. It was in Mobile. It was the Alabama Sports Writers Association, and I was winning some award, and I can't remember what it was. Anyway.
Those are not hung up in the office either. by the
No,
way.
they're not. It was the Sunday after we had miscarried, and I did not want to be there. It was kind of my first time to kind of get out a little bit. And anyway, Mike sought me out and spoke for a little while. One of those deals. I was the Auburn beat writer at the time. You know, I mean, I was the enemy, in quotes. And
What was that? Oh, it was your computer telling you some days coming up or a calendar thing.
it's my computer reminding me that tomorrow's Carson's birthday.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, it was one of those deals I will always think fondly of him because he He didn't have to.
You remember that kind of stuff. I mean,
He didn't have to do that.
Our whole deal in 15. I mean, I could list off right now players and coaches and who said stuff and who didn't say stuff, and not negative on who didn't.
Sure,
but just who did, and whatever. I mean, that's like, I mean, and I'm friends with him now. I've always liked him, but like Brady Bramlett was really, really good during that time period. Went out of his way a couple times and different things. Mike was excellent.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
So anyway,
I just remember that. Isn't that funny how that's my? If you mention Mike DuBose to me, I don't think Alabama wins or losses or stuff like that. I think that moment when he was a very human person.
How'd he do?
He won the SEC one year, and then they kind of lost it.
He was late 90s.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He runs together on me a little bit. He was before
Franchione. Yeah. I think he went through like 2000, 2001.
Franchione was at TCU with like LaDainian Tomlinson before Alabama. Is that right?
Absolutely. Okay. Because I spent several days in Fort Worth before the first Mobile, Alabama Bowl, and I was the TCU beat writer.
Really?
Yeah. Auburn did not make a bowl game Tuberville's first year.
They felt it important to have a beat writer on a team playing in Mobile in a bowl game.
Yeah, my sports editor was big on civic stuff. Big. He was probably in bed with them. He was probably getting a cut. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they sent – it was TCU. Who did TCU play?
Don't know.
God, isn't that funny? TCU.
What year was it?
East Carolina. I think this is 99. Tuberville's first year at Auburn.
8-4, 5-2 in the WAC. East Carolina, Lad People Stadium.
So we like flipped
28-14.
We flipped a coin, if I remember, and I won. And I picked. I'll go to Fort Worth. Thank you very much.
Instead of Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah. Okay. And so I had to do a gazillion stories on TCU, and then when they came to Mobile, I covered them the whole time, and I covered them at the game. But I remember LaDainian Tomlinson.
As you should.
Yeah. Remember him being. He stood out at practice.
He was a junior, wore number 5 that year. Yeah.
And they had a quarterback who was good, too, and I can't think of his name.
Casey Printers.
Casey Printers
was his name.
He was a good player.
That is correct. It was wore number 1, Casey Printers. He played in the Canadian Football League for a long time.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, played in the Canadian Football League from 2003 to 2010.
Yep, it's Wednesday, October the 3rd, ladies and gentlemen. It's ULM week here covering the Rebels.
Just throwing it out there. It is what it is. All right.
LaDainian Tomlinson, and there was some. That was good. And Franchione was cool. He was good. He was a nice guy.
If you're in town this weekend, we'll see how many of you are. 2 p.m. Friday for the double-decker bus tours on campus. Those are 2 p.m. Friday before every Ole Miss home game. Even if you're later on for Auburn, South Carolina, those at 2 p.m. as well. Coming up on, October 21st, we've got the Wizard of Oz at the Ford Center. You can get your tickets now for that. October 23rd, the Oxford Art Crawl as they get close to Christmas later on. The Nutcrackers coming to the Ford Center. November 30th, got the holiday market around that time, and some pop-ups coming as well. You can find out more from calendar events at visitoxfordms.com/events to see everything going on in Oxford.
As we've been telling you, Ole Miss returns to the Vaught on Saturday for homecoming. They take on Louisiana Monroe. Tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. The Ole Miss volleyball team returns home Sunday at 1:30. They square off with the LSU Tigers. As always, admission is free at the Gillum Center. The Ole Miss soccer team returns home on Sunday as well as they take on Arkansas at 2 p.m. For more info, visit OleMissSports.com. And the Square Jam returns for 2018. Join the Ole Miss Hoops teams for a night on the Square on October the 19th at 6:15 p.m. For more info, visit OleMissSports.com. My post-game column on Saturday and this podcast are sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi, but it represents clients in 24 states and has advisors in 3 states. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. Regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. I can't emphasize this enough. I watched them do it. I saw examples. It's incredible. The cookie-cutter financial planners, we've all dealt with those. They put you in a box. You sort of fit a slot with those people. At Pinnacle Trust, that's not how it's done. The box is built just for you. They get your information. They figure out what your goals are, what your dreams are, when you're hoping to retire, and they tell you what you have to do to make it possible. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
Podcasts are brought to you by Tyson Drugs, TysonDrugs.com. They have a great app as well. Look at it in downtown Holly Springs. Give them a call at 662-252-2321 because they deliver wherever you are. And if you're in the Oxford area, G&M Pharmacy will deliver local in that area with great customer service and the compliance packaging that makes sure you take the right medicine at the right time every single day. Again, TysonDrugs.com. Athletics Yankees tonight, by the way, 7:08 p.m. on TBS, in case anybody was curious about baseball. And then tomorrow night starts the divisional series. Kershaw not throwing game 1 for the Dodgers, so he's throwing game 2. All right, news yesterday, moving Tyler Knight to defense. C.J. Moore out longer than maybe expected on first blush.
It's a torn pec.
Yeah, 5 months now, I think, for his recovery. So
I mean, that's what Jason Jones said, 4 to 5 months. But it's a torn pec. It's a serious injury.
But 5 games.
I would think his season's over.
That's kind of what I was looking at, and I mean, if that's the case, his career's over. He's senior.
Yeah, I mean,
one too many games. Play one fewer.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe I misheard, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's what it was. And redshirt rules are for medical redshirts. You have to play in 30% or fewer of games, and no games in the second half of a season. So they're more than 30% of the way through. So I think that's it. If that's the case, and just judging by kind of the letter of the law there. So,
well, yeah, I think the new rule makes it where there's not much to interpret.
Yeah. Are you anticipating? I mean, there've been these 2 different changes. McGriff kind of acted like everybody had to be ready. Are you expecting Linton and Knight to play substantial snaps on Saturday, or is this a depth move?
Listening to Jason Jones, Linton's playing for sure, and I think now look. There's a lot of Tyler Knight love on the beat. And so there's a lot of Tyler Knight questions, and Jason's not going to say anything but positive things, but he certainly implied that he thinks he's going to play. I can't imagine that the kid's moving from running back as a true freshman to defensive back, and in 1 week he's picking up enough to go play a lot. I mean, I don't think, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. I mean, that's,
but you know, there's a depth issue in the secondary.
The secondary's been ravaged at this point. I mean, three starters down.
And apparently I missed it, but I don't think Cam Ordway is playing any further.
How many games has he played so far?
I think he played in 4, and I think he is doing I think he's there's a report that he's doing the transfer thing.
As a freshman, I thought he was okay, and it just hasn't really progressed from there.
He's not an impact player.
Well, no, he's not an impact player.
Bottom line.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you win in this league with impact players. You surround impact players with solid role players, but you have to have impact players.
I was searching for Ordway, and I was searching in the NFL database. That would not be where he's currently located.
I don't think you'll ever find him there.
That's not where he's currently located. Cam Ordway, Ole Miss.
You look at Pro Football Focus?
Yeah, I am. Let's see. Snaps by position. Well, where's just his profile? Hold on.
That's okay.
Anyway,
we could have played the ULM fight song right here. Would have been good. See, I don't even. Yeah.
Whatever.
It's very exciting. I think I could remember that.
He's only played in 3 games. He played against Southern Illinois, he played against Alabama, and played against Kent State. He did not play against LSU. Did not play against Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think I think the LSU part of this is significant.
Yeah. So he didn't play in the opener, and then didn't play in the last one.
I remember the Louisiana Tech fight song.
He's actually been somewhat okay. 63.9 overall grade defensively. Covered at 61. I mean,
I'll give credit.
He would kind of be like the 0.0 WAR in base. He's fine.
Yeah.
It's not good or bad.
I didn't notice it, so I missed that. So win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's fair.
He didn't stand out. His absence was not conspicuous to me.
Well, no, I was more mad at myself when I figured out in that other game that Dasher and Bing Dukes didn't play, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Just kind of missed that along the way. But anyway.
Well, in a season where the big picture is bigger than the small picture, it's easy to lose sight of some of the details at times. And this is a season where the big picture outweighs the small picture.
How was Carson handling things this morning?
Okay. A little down. He watched through 11 innings last night. He's such a good kid. He cheered hard. I was more cynical than Carson.
Shocked.
He cheered hard.
What level of breakup are they going to have to do here? I mean,
see, I think it's time to do something significant. I think you have to look at them, and I won't bore people. There's talk about Joe Madden being let go, and I know on first blush that looks crazy. I don't think it's all that crazy. I think Chili Davis as a hitting coach was a failure. On the flip side, Madden did a great job. Yu Darvish didn't contribute. Tyler Chatwood didn't contribute. Chris Bryant missed 60 games. And they still won 95 games. They won 95 games.
Best record in the National League.
He's been the manager for 4 seasons, and they've averaged 97 wins. That's pretty freaking solid. But this course, he did some things poorly late in the year that optically didn't go well. I think he pitched Brandon Morrow in a game in June against the Mets. The Cubs blew the game open in the 14th with 6 runs, and he let Morrow pitch the bottom of the inning. Morrow really never was the same again. The night we had the show at Funky's that you were mad at me for watching the Cubs game, September the 13th, people let Pedro Strop hit. Pedro Strop was their closer after Morrow went down, and Strop grounded into a double play and yanked his hamstring trying to run. He threw an inning last night, said after the game that he would not have been able to pitch again, that the hamstring wasn't healed. Hamstrings don't heal in 3 weeks. It takes 6 weeks when you pull a hamstring. It's a 6-week injury. So he didn't manage the team well. And then here was the optic one, and this is kind of a little bit of where we are today, and I'm with the people who criticize him here. Addison Russell, the Cubs' former all-star shortstop, was involved, according to his ex-wife, in a series of physical altercations with his wife. She blogged about it. It has led to his suspension. She wrote a blog that resulted in MLB taking action, and Joe Madden was asked about it, and he said, I haven't read it. I'll let it run its course. The Cubs are a little more of a sensitive organization at the top with Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer and those kind of people, and they were not happy with that answer. Eventually, Madden came back and said, I read it, whatever, but kind of the damage was done from a PR standpoint. So I don't know. We'll see. I think changes get made. I think they shake it up. I do believe they will be a major player for Bryce Harper. Makes sense. They just played 22 innings of high-leverage baseball. Gave up 6 runs. If I tell you your team's going to pitch 22 innings and give up 6 runs, you're feeling pretty good.
I think you got that one potentially.
You're feeling okay.
Got one of them
Getting
for sure.
one of them. The Cubs scored 2 runs in 22 innings. 2 runs in 22 innings. Gave up 5 runs. I'm sorry. Gave up 5 runs in 22 innings. You're thinking, hey, we might have 2 wins on our hands.
They looked abysmal offensively. Just abysmal.
Yeah, and so I think changes get made. I think they have some trade chips that it's time to cash in. I think they'll attempt to move Jason Hayward. I don't know that it's possible. But I look for change, yeah. Wow. Kudos, by the way, to Freeland last night for Colorado. Listen to this stat. Yep. He's the last pitcher to throw 7 or more shutout innings in a postseason game on 3 days rest since John Smoltz and Jack Morris did it in that World Series game.
So almost 30 years.
Yeah.
27
What a
years.
game that was. Braves fans hate it, but
Yeah, I mentioned it this morning when we came in. That's my late night childhood memory of staying up to watch a game. Was Game 7, 91.
But he stayed up. He's already excited about the convention. I'm taking him back to the convention in January, and I know what he's hoping for. He's hoping that's where Bryce Harper's
There's a
going to
certain
be.
player there.
He will. That's what he's hoping for. He's a really good kid. I'm lucky.
Are they going to lose one of their main core guys in the offseason, or are they all pretty locked in?
They're all locked in.
Okay.
I mean, if they do, it'll be in a trade, and that wouldn't shock me. I mean, it won't be Rizzo or Bryan or Baez, but if you told me they did something with like a Contreras, I'm not shocked.
Okay.
Ian Happ, and for Carson, any of those guys, it's going to be kind of emotional because he cheers for all of them so hard. Like, Kyle Schwarber would be a big deal to him.
That's fair.
He's a kid. Turns 12 tomorrow.
Every one of them are good. So
Yeah, when you're
fine.
12, those are your boys. You ride with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So anyway, this podcast also brought to you in part by the Westin Jackson. Restore serenity to your soul. Visit Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. Indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. Escape from the everyday, rejuvenate yourself in the luxury spa today. Join the Westin Jackson for their inaugural event. It's the Festival of Trees. It's a community-wide event. The Westin Jackson is partnered with Eventful, Visit Jackson, Friends of Children's Hospital, and many others to create a one-of-a-kind, all-month-long holiday event. It's comprised of elaborately decorated Christmas trees lining the Westin Jackson halls, a holiday charity gala, sugar plum fairy trees, and brunch with Santa. It's an annual event that they're hoping will delight kids of all ages and warm the Christmas spirit in all who attend. You can purchase your tickets today at jacksonfestivaloftrees.com. And this podcast is also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys you'll never forget, or maybe that anniversary trip she'll never forget, whether you've dreamed of playing St. Andrews or sitting at a cafe in Paris, talk to John Edwards before you try to do it yourself. Why use John? Well, he's a part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. John traveled the globe for 37 years before getting into the travel business, so he knows the extra attention needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So if you're thinking about going with the boys to Pebble Beach or taking her to Napa for the vacation of her dreams, call John, give him some parameters and a budget, and let him give you some options. And know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. Call him at 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
I'm shocked by this. Dustin Johnson says there was everything was fine, no issues at all with the Ryder Cup, all good.
Of course.
I think that's a little media thing here to finish. So Shane Bacon on the Clubhouse, his podcast, golf. He had the New York Times writer who asked Patrick Reed all the questions and stuff that we talked about the other day. And she struck me as interesting because she's very, very accomplished. I mean, really good golf writer. Very kind of siding with Patrick. And I wondered, do we believe that, or is that because he gave you a scoop and I'm going to defend the crap out of him over the course of the next week? Because it was... anytime there was kind of a doubt on something that he said, she gave a very favorable, what he was probably thinking quote to that I thought was interesting.
You know this because you deal with people who are pretty friendly sometimes and you deal with people who aren't.
Yeah.
And you're a human.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to treat those two people fairly.
Yeah. It just kind of struck me about halfway through. I thought she's really giving a lot of benefit of the doubt here in every way. But he took her call. And he gave quotes and
gave her scoop.
Gave her quotes that went viral on top of that.
So she's probably a little biased towards him as much as she's probably trying not to be.
Her editor at the New York Times probably pretty happy with her that morning when she got up. So
yeah. A little lesson, if you're ever in a spot where you need to deal with media, my advice is deal with media and do it friendly.
Just be nice.
Be nice. It's my mother used to say, and a lot of your mothers used to say, and a lot of their mothers used to say, you can catch more bees with honey than you can with vinegar, and it's probably true.
Don't pick fights with people that buy ink by the barrel, right?
Yeah.
We don't really do that anymore, but nonetheless.
It's good advice.
Yeah, there is no space deadline on the computer page.
No.
As long and long and long and long as is needed.
If we wanted to write till 2 a.m. on
That thing
Saturday,
just keeps
we
going.
Keep on going.
Yeah.
If you'd like to, you can. I won't.
I think our servers will handle it. Most times they will.
Yeah.
They've been pretty good lately. We got through a signing day. I mean, we've been all right. I'm sorry. Okay. Knock on wood. We hadn't died recently.
Whew.
How's everybody doing? Well, you know it's bad, like when you walk into signing day press conference and other media looks over at you and goes, I'm sorry. I'm going,
Yeah. Or hey, you made it.
We're looking up. It's all good.
That was a bad day.
Well, we had multiple bad days. No, it was not 1 year.
Yeah,
It was
but
2 out of 3.
The one was the really bad one.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
1 out of 3, actually. So. Dang it, I just...
Get you a lot of money on the free agent market. 333.
Will this time, won't it?
Whew.
We've been really throwing it around.
Do you think either Harper or Machado get $400 million? They're both 26. Generational talents. Harper just had probably the worst year of his career, and he still has basically an 8 WAR.
Those long contracts scare the crap out of me. If I can't do something kind of creative with it, I get it, but it kills your organization.
It potentially is devastating.
You're basically, it's like with Breeze in a lot of ways. The saying goes, look, the end of this may really suck, but I've got a window, and it's the only way I can win in the window, so it is what it is.
See, I think what happened last night forces the Cubs to go even further in.
You really do.
I do, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely do. I think they are absolutely going to be major players.
We were huge on Creed. Let's end the show with this. I don't think we've done this before. If we have, I don't remember it. And if I don't remember it, you definitely won't, so it won't screw up the game. I had this in front of me a minute ago. I just stumbled across it.
Okay.
Rocky movies. We'll go quickly. Rotten Tomatoes scores for the Rocky movies. All the way through, at least the first 5. That's the ones I have in front of me.
Okay. All right.
Rocky 1. What do you think? Critics for Rocky 1.
I would say the critics probably gave it a really good score, like 80.
Gave it a 93.
Okay, it won Academy Awards.
It was an Oscar nom or win or whatever. All right, Rocky 2.
Ooh, I would think not nearly as good. I would think the critics gave it about a 45.
Okay, see, they still liked it a little bit. I think it had the parts that I kind of hate, the slowness and the drama and stuff. I think with critics, they sort of thought that had some depth to it in a way.
Yeah.
Rocky 2 gets a 74. Very respectable, fresh rating there for Rocky 2.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's move on to Rocky 3. Got Thunder Lips. We got Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
We got a rematch. We got Mickey
a little
dying.
silly. I'm going to say they still kind of liked it, like a 61.
Rocky 3, certified fresh, 65%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're still good there. All good. We're going to Russia for the Cold War solver. Rocky 4 with the critics.
10,408.
10,408.
Yeah.
You got another answer?
10,409.
Rocky 4 is rotten at 38%.
I demand it. Send them an email demanding an
Send
apology.
him an email. 38%.
I don't
Rocky
give you many
4.
assignments, if you will. I want an email sent to me.
You want to CC'd on that thing.
I want to be apologized to. Absolutely. I have been offended.
Rocky 3 grabs almost 3 times the rating of Rocky 4.
It's absolute.
Or 2 times, I
I'm
guess.
deeply offended.
And then the film that never happened, Rocky 5, Tommy Gunn, the machine gun, the street fight at the end.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
27%. See, you're pissed off the other way now that there was 27 people or percent of people that said.
I don't know what you're talking about. You've lost me.
Rocky IV to Rocky Balboa.
Yes, exactly.
That's where we go here.
I don't know what your delusions, or whatever they are. You dreamt that. There was no, quote, Rocky V, end quote. That did not happen.
All right, Rocky Balboa. What do you think?
I'm going to guess this was pretty decent. This was a good movie, really. I remember Mark Heim and I went to see this in Spanish Fort, and I expected to be stupid. I expected it to be like dumb, and it actually ended up being a really good movie. I'm going to guess that the critics actually liked it. 72.
Rocky Balboa certified fresh, 76%. Yeah. Critics were good on Rocky Balboa.
That was actually a really good movie.
Surprisingly good.
Shockingly good, in fact.
You did. You went into it thinking, let me just enjoy my popcorn and let's play some Gonna Fly now and let's hit somebody.
Literally, I told Mark, I said, we're going to go, and I'm going to get the big Coke and a big popcorn, and I'm kind of letting it go. You know, we're just going to have some fun.
We're just watching Rocky.
We're going to giggle at Rocky fighting as an old man, and it was great. It was really, really good.
And then in a setup to Creed 2, Creed with the critics.
Oh, I think the critics loved it. It was a really good movie. I'm going to go 82%.
Creed, of course, certified fresh, 95%.
Wow.
The highest rated film in the series, Creed, so far.
It was really good. Michael B. Jordan's terrific. I can't think of her name, his love interest in the movie.
I can't either, but yeah.
She's excellent. And frankly, Sylvester Stallone, as an old Rocky,
does a good job.
Is so much better than he was as a young Rocky.
Okay.
He gives the show, he has so much depth to his character.
We've seen nothing but the 2-minute and 26-second trailer. In a year from now, when I look that up for Creed 2, what is going to be the critic score?
100.
81. Fall off, still good.
181.
181. It's Creed 2, The Godfather, Citizen Kane. That's Godfather 2.
I mean, that trailer.
It was one of the better trailers you'll ever see.
I mean, I'm going to tell you this. If we played that trailer too many times, all of the Viagra and Sildenafil people would just go out of business.
I mean,
they would just go out of business.
The company who does trailers, like it was like Cameron Diaz in that movie The Holiday, her company did trailers. Like, whoever it was got done with that one and hit send and went, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody sat back and went, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got that one.
I made that happen. Y'all see that? Hey, I'm taking a few weeks off.
Yeah, he's sending that one to his buddies going, hey, check this one out.
Check this out. Give you a little preview.
Yeah, so. All right. Matt Luke will talk tonight. We'll have that. Quick update here. 1 week hiatus this week for our live shows at Funky's on the Oxford Square. So no show tomorrow night. You'll get a podcast, and you're not going to miss any content. Might even do a Fire Away Friday. A lot of people are going to have questions and stuff.
Let's do that.
Might go back. Might have a Fire Away Friday. We'll do that. We'll tell you about some specials coming up for Funky's this week. Make it up to those guys. But 1 week hiatus. Got some personal stuff going on. We'll be back next week prior to the Arkansas game, and then only a couple weeks away from Jay Tate making his appearance in the house at Funky's for October 18th, I believe is the date for that, 2 days before Ole Miss and the Auburn Tigers. So just a quick update there. Just 1 week. Be back with you soon for that. Be back tomorrow with another podcast. I assume Jeffrey, you back on schedule tomorrow, and we will talk to you then.